Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this for a couple years with my fiance. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go into what has sold on the weekend so far. We're actually packing up items early on because we feel like if we get all the labels printed, eBay's algorithm will spit out some more sales for us because it started slowing down at this point. It is Sunday right now. So this is stuff from, I think, early Friday all the way through Saturday to part of Sunday. Theoretically, we should have a couple more sales before the day ends. I'm just going to jump right into it. It's actually a lot of sales. First thing is a baseball PC game. I feel like it's just a joke because I keep talking about how I know very little about sports, that we keep actually having our few sports items sell. I do usually pick up boxed sport PC games. I feel like the guys that like this stuff like having the box and the manual. It looks nice on a shelf. It's clean. They probably collect them. I think they also play them. Their favorite years. This sold for $10.50 plus shipping. We don't do free shipping, so I'm probably going to not say that for the rest of this particular video just to make it a little bit quicker because it's going to be a longer one. Next up is an RPG book. I had another one, so I relisted it. Blue Rose Quick Start book. It's actually a thicker Quick Start RPG book. This sold for $7 plus shipping and also from a repeat buyer, so that's awesome, getting a repeat buyer. Next thing is a board game. Well, there's no board, but it's a bunch of cards. Lost Legacy, the Starship Social Deduction game. This is going to be similar to Love Letter, another game where there's like 16 or so cards. Quick to play, quick to teach. Yeah, I haven't played this one, but this sold for $16 plus shipping. Next up is another RPG book. Vampire the Requiem Bloodlines, the Legendary. There you go. It's a hardcover book. This one sold for $19 plus shipping. Yeah, I always pick up Vampire Masquerade stuff. I know there's so many editions. I'm not that well knowledgeable on it, but I know enough that people love the content or like these particular items and the whole Vampire RPG systems and books. They sell pretty well, so that was $19. Next up are some bits and pieces. Hopefully I can find them quickly. This is 36 Warhammer 40k, it looks just like mostly heads. Yeah, people like to mod their figures. Sometimes I think it changes the rules for the particular characters, or people just like painting them and having bits and pieces. They'll put them on the bases, they'll make it decorative. $27.50. Next up is a very old listing that we had from a long time ago. I can tell because it doesn't have wrapping around it. 2 Pyramid magazines. These sold for $10 plus shipping. I already said I was going to say plus shipping, but yeah, these are in good condition. Yeah, it's cool, vintage, fantasy, electronics, old school magazines. People like to look through them. Next up is a plushie from Toys R Us. It's like a brown chocolate lab puppy. It's actually pretty adorable. The person's probably going to be super happy with this because I feel like even with my decent pictures, it's going to look way more adorable in person. This sold for $8.50. Next up is an MCM glassware little tiny bottle. Looks like a potion bottle. I don't know what they're going to use this for. Maybe just for display. It's 3 inches. This sold for $9. We got a bunch of them. I'm not well versed in listing glassware. We have sold a good amount of it. This was from an auction for cheap, for a big lot. So yeah, another $9 from a little tiny item. Next up is an order someone messaged me about. I had 2 of these Wyvern, not sure how you pronounce it, sealed starter decks. These are by a Magic the Gathering artist that made his own game, I believe in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. Off the top of my head, I can't really see because there's too much glare. I think it's Mike Fitzgerald, I think. He is famous for one of his Atog, I think, cards. Oh, it's been a bit. Been out of the Magic scene for a while. These sold as a combo order for $30. Next up, I was super shocked for this one. It happened to just be in a box of stuff we bought from bulk. I almost didn't want to list it, but it was already in my hands. I knew it was going to take not like a minute or less to list. It's a tie for the Three Stooges. I think this is maybe the first few ties I've sold. I know we've done a couple before, maybe like a Looney Tunes ones. I can't remember off the top of my head. This sold for $10. Super shocked. It didn't take up much space in the bin. You can squish it, easy to ship. That's all I know. I don't really know much about the Three Stooges. It's obviously an older show than me. Alright, next up is a niche thing that I am aware of. This is 100 lightly used standard size Dragon Shield sleeves. Yep, even at slightly used. These were the only ones that existed on eBay when I listed them. It sold for $19.99. Yeah, these are limited edition. Usually all of Dragon Shield's like art stuff, and once they sell out, they usually don't have extras or reprint them, so people are going to want this particular art. They're going to see it. They're going to pay up because it's going on a special deck that they probably spent thousands on or hundreds on, who knows. Yeah, so $20 for sleeves or replacements for when your other sleeves rip. Having 100 replacements is worth the $20 rather than rebuying a whole nother pack of sleeves. Really cool. You do have to make sure that the sleeves are still usable. These are very lightly played. It almost looks like one deck was sleeved, used once, and then taken out. So yeah, $19.99. Next up is a foil card. Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil deck building game. This is a promo, I believe. This sold for $10. So yeah, I sell this one often. I have more and I relisted it. Ooh, next one's a pretty cool one. I'm going to try to unbox it really quickly. If it looks like it's going to be a mess, I won't. This is Spices of the World by Avalon Hill. This is a pretty cool board game. I'm going to try really quickly to see if I can show you some of the cool pieces from this. Oh yeah, here's some. So I don't know if these are pawns. I've never played this game, but check these out. These are literally spices inside of the pawns, like the little plastic thing. It's super cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool cards and components, and this is an older game. If I had to take a guess, I want to say like 80s or 90s. I can't see it right now. But yeah, this sold for $34. Yeah, anytime you find unique stuff like this, it's always good to put it up on eBay. Let me move that out of the way. Running out of space. Oh, this one's going to be painful. Next one is Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, the board game complete. This is very heavy. This is a pretty popular game. I believe it's still in print. I know the first edition of Gloomhaven's been out of print. But yeah, this one, I don't know if I would get again. It sold for $19.99, which is a decent price. But this listing and counting the pieces, because there's over like 400 or 500 pieces, I take pictures of as much as I can. I think I used every single picture slot for this. For $20 and taking up a lot of space, I don't know. It's hard to say. That one's like, I have another one, but it was actually missing some pieces, so I started selling it for parts, and that's probably the better idea. I just generally don't like to break down an actually complete game, but because it's so heavy, it actually might be more efficient for money to break it down and sell like the characters separately for people, tokens, trays, monster cards, the standees. But like I said, that's conflicting for me because I don't like to like break down something that's perfectly complete. But yeah, the game I think new is 40 to 50, but like it's on sale a lot at Target and stuff for like 25. So I'm lucky that I sold it for 20 plus the massive shipping. Would I do it again? I don't know. All right, next up is a pamphlet for Kentucky. This is like a map. This sold for $12.59. I just had it labeled so I could find it easily. I love selling this type of stuff. This is definitely something that someone would think is junk. You can definitely get these things cheap at like estate sales, even yard sales, just laying around people's houses. It's an easy one to sell. They are dreadfully boring to list, but I don't mind it, because they take up little space, and you don't always get a good amount of money. But yeah, $12.59 is decent for that one. Next up is, oh, I almost thought I forgot it. I was going to be sad. I don't really want to roll this out because it's going to be too big. This is for a, I believe, like a board game, miniature game called Sails of Glory. This is a neoprene playmat of just like the open sea / ocean. This is, I think, 38 inches by probably like 24 or something. This sold for $31.99 plus shipping. These are things that I personally don't mind listing, but I know they are inefficient for storing. I have a big bin for them. They are hard to picture, and people generally know that these things are unwieldy to put in their board game or miniature game rooms. They usually get like containers that go over their shoulder that hold these. They are very satisfying and nice to play on when you have like a special mat for a board game or a miniature game, but because of all the hassle, they do sell slower. And the shipping has to be more because of its dimensions. But yeah, $31.99 for this one. Not too shabby. I knew this would be, I think it's an older game, so having a nice, good condition mat like this, I knew it would eventually sell. I didn't realize it would sell this quick. I think it's been since Tuesday and we're on Sunday. Next up is a business program PC thing called SmartDraw from 2009. Graphics software. Words are hard. Alright, this one sold for $12. I had an issue with another one that sold that the person said that they didn't have the CD key on the CD, and then they reached out to tech support and they said, sorry, we don't give out keys anymore. You can go ask the original owner. I messaged them and I said, hey, I don't know how you want to resolve this. I'm not sure. I'm not the original owner. I got this in a bulk buy. I think it was with the car full of CDs. So hopefully there's no issues on this one. This sold for $12. Next up is another RPG book. Also an older listing, because you can tell we don't have the wrapping around this one. This one is Shadowrun book, Virtual Realities. Decent condition. Yeah, they're probably going to be happier with this one compared to the pictures. This sold for $9.99 plus shipping. So yeah, Shadowrun's pretty popular. Even damaged or beat up books I've sold for $10 or more. Sometimes, like, always grab Shadowrun stuff. Next up, getting lucky with these, is a PC game. This one is, Anno 1404. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anno, looks like a Pirates game in Europe or something. There you go, $15. I love selling PC games. I don't know, they do really well for us, but I do know to search for like the unique ones. That one I haven't seen before. I grabbed it and it sold. Next up is a really cool item. I personally think so. This is a journal for a character from the board game by Red Raven Games. Hopefully you can see that, but it's in the plastic wrap. This is Mac's journal. Mac is one of the main characters. I have a couple hundred hours into the game with my fiance. This is really cool. It details some more of the main character's story. It gives you lore about the world. It talks about the gods in there. It talks about the different factions and cultures. This is a really cool, it was a Kickstarter, I think, extra item. $22.49. Next up, I think this is my item from like early 20s. A Gambit graphic novel. This is like the volume 1. This just has a, basically his intro story comic book slapped together by someone. This sold for $20. Yeah, I don't need it anymore. Next up, very low sale, probably the lowest in a while I've had. A memory card holder. Also probably was a throw-in at some estate sale. It was in the box I was listing. It's sealed. It probably took a minute or less to list. $4.99 plus shipping. Yeah, I would still probably pick this up if it was a throw-in or a quarter. It's not too shabby. It's easy throw-in. Did not take up too much space in the bin either. Next up is a combo order. 2 Metal War miniature packets. Right here. It looks just like some musketeers, and here's some more infantry. I love selling miniatures like this. It's cool that they have their original package, even though they're like busted up. This sold for $28, so a pretty good combo order. Next up is also an item I was surprised at. It's like aluminum wired. It's gonna be hard to see, like cactus desk decor. That's what I put down. This sold for $10. I can't quite remember where this one was from, unfortunately. Maybe my fiance picked this somewhere at like a thrift store, or I'm not sure. Yard sale, who knows? I doubt it was that expensive, but yeah, $10 for that. Next up is, I've sold this a couple times. I'm actually unaware of where these are from. Maybe miniature game terrain set. I just put like Cityscape RPG terrain wargaming pieces. I think this is like the third batch of these I sold, and they sell relatively quickly, so maybe I'm underpricing it, but I was happy to get for a bag of just miniature bits and pieces terrain for $20. This is pretty good. I love grabbing bits and pieces like that. Oh, next one was a awesome order. One of my favorites. Feel like we got lucky with this. This is a lot of 70 Monopoly silver and gold, not real silver and gold, and green houses and hotels. This sold for $21.99. Yeah, shocked on that one. I'll take it. I won't question it. Next up is a TSR Advanced Dungeons & Dragons advertisement sheet. It's, oops, sorry, Dark Sun. I'm not too sure on this one. It folds out, and then, yeah, it folds out as like a pamphlet, and then it folds out into like a cool poster with a bunch of information and everything. This one sold for $15. I don't know where to put it. I'll put it right here. I'm going to skip around in my personal, in the order that stuff sold, but it doesn't matter. This right here, I won't really be able to show it too much. I want to be careful with this one. This is a Magic the Gathering uncut foil rare War of the Spark sheet. Yeah, I don't really want to. It's just a little bit. There you go. Hopefully you can see a little bit. Sorry, I really don't have the space to unfurl this completely. This sold for $121.87. Yeah, this is like a rare home run. This is not going to be happening again anytime soon, unless if I get lucky. Yeah, this is from a bulk purchase. So yeah, that's a pretty cool one. All right, next up is, make sure I don't damage that. I have to be careful with that. Zombicide First Edition base game. This sold for $49.99. This is a pretty expensive game, just in general. You're fighting a bunch of zombies with miniatures. You pick a character. Think Walking Dead, but in a board game form. It has a ton of expansions. People love the company, Cool Mini or not. It's called CMON. Yeah, I purchased it. I paid up for this one. I purchased this along with a bunch of other stuff from a friend. They didn't want this anymore. I went and picked up some items. They were happy with what I paid for. So yeah, definitely paid up for that one, but I knew it would eventually sell. It is a heavier one. It takes up a lot of space, but I knew I can get a decent price for it as long as I made sure the pieces were there and that it was complete. All right, moving on. This is a CD. I love selling CDs. I think physical media is pretty good for us, or does pretty well. This is $7.75. This is just Eyes Wide Shut from the motion picture. There you go. That's it. I don't know too much about that one. Last thing on the list is a Orleans the War Game. Never played it. This is a custom token to pass along to show who's the first player. I haven't played the board game, so I'm not sure how this passes around. I thought this was a reminder token at first for whose turn it is, but no, it's the first player token. Usually that means you get to do fancier actions when you're the first player, but then there's going to be mechanics, and usually in board games where you can spend a turn to take it from someone, so then you can go first the next round. I like that mechanic in board games. It's pretty decent. Doesn't do well in two-player games, I think, but once you hit 4 or more, it's a cool concept. Sold for a low amount, $4.50, but this literally took no room in a baggie with about 30 other listings in the baggie. In the bin, which has a lot more listings, probably a couple hundred, if not more. I'm not counting. All right, so let me double check. I think that is everything. There was one more item that sold while I was recording. It's not here. It's at the storage units. Hopefully more stuff sells once we pack this up and print the labels and push it out on the eBay sold items. This stuff will have to be dropped off tomorrow. Please, like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you would like to support our channel, take a look at our shop below. Have a good weekend and have a good day.